Here we have a SAT math problem. Okay, let's go to the question. The scatter plot above shows the weekly number of requests received at 7 different government agencies and their processing time per request of the labeled points, which represents the government agency that spends the most time processing of all its requests each week. Okay, so here in the given answer choices, we have the government agencies A, B, C, and D. Okay, here when I look at the scatter plot over here, on the horizontal axis over here, we have number of requests received each week. That is weekly number of requests. That is also given in thousands. For example, if I consider the number 4 on the horizontal axis, it gives 4,000 requests received each week. So this 5 says 5,000 requests received each week. Okay, now let me consider the vertical axis over here. On the vertical axis, we have processing time per request in minutes. So this 5 says it takes 5 minutes per request. This 10 says 10 minutes per request. Okay, now to find the maximum time for the government agencies A, B, C, D to process all the requests received each week, we have to multiply the number of requests received each week by the government agency, and it has to be multiplied by the processing time per request. That is for one request, the processing time. Okay, since we have government agency A in answer choice A, so now let's find the total processing time for all the requests received by government agency A. So first, let me find the number of requests received by government agency A. For that, consider the number on the horizontal axis corresponding to the point A, that is 5. That is 5,000 requests. So government agency A receives 5,000 requests per week. Let me write the number of requests received by government agency A per week. Now it has to be multiplied by the processing time per request. For that, we have to consider the number on the vertical axis corresponding to this point A. So here we have the number exact middle point between 20 and 25, that is 22.5. So that is a processing time per request for government agency A is 22.5 minutes. Let me write over here. Now I multiply the number of requests received by government agency A in each week by processing time per request, that is 22.5 minutes. When I multiply them, I am getting the total time to process all the requests received by government agency A. When I multiply these two values, I am getting 112,500. That is minutes. The total time taken by government agency to process all the requests received in each week is 112,500 minutes. The same process we have to do for government agency B, C, and D. Okay, now let me do it for B, that we have an answer choice B. So first, let's write the number of requests received by government agency B per week. So B is over here. So the number corresponding to the point B on the horizontal axis is the exact middle point between 6 and 7. That is 6.5. That means 6,500 requests per week. It has to be multiplied by the processing time per request. For that, we have to consider the value on the vertical axis corresponding to B, that is 30. 30 minutes per request. Let me multiply by 30. When I multiply the number of requests and the processing time per request, I am getting 195,000 minutes. So this is the total time taken by government agency B to process all the requests received each week. Now let me do the same thing for point C, because we have government agency C in answer choice C. For C, the number of requests is 7,000. Let me write over here. And the processing time is exact middle value of 15 and 20. That is 17.5. When I multiply 7,000 and 17.5, I'm getting 122,000 minutes. Let me write over here. And for government agency D in answer choice D, so the number of requests is 9. That is 9,000. Requests received each week. It has to be multiplied by the processing time per request, that is 20 minutes. Let's multiply this one by 20. Then I'm getting 180,000 minutes. Okay, now I got the total time for each government agency for this A, B, C, and D to process all the requests received each week. So according to the information, we have to find the government agency that spends the most time, that is maximum time processing all of its requests each week. So among these values, we have to get the one which is maximum. Clearly, that is 195,000. That is we have for government agency B. So we find B in answer choice B. The correct answer choice for this question is B.